Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to drop this in. A lot of times I hear people talk about like wealth and how we boast about someone's wealth and this person's wealthy or that person's wealthy. Let me zip this up a little bit because I want to be able to talk this way. But the question I often have is wealth at the expense of who? Who at the expense of what people did they obtain that wealth? Now, I'm not saying it's the case with everyone, but I do know that when we start equating wealth and, because if I could tell you some of the like interesting conversations I've had, people talk about how, well, so and so is the wealthiest person here or there or whatever. But I rarely hear them talk about the people who helped to make them wealthy. That administrative assistant who really does all of the work. That clerk who works in the basement making sure that things are in order for whatever the process might be. And so what I often wonder and think about is, yeah, we celebrate the wealthy person, but what about the people who make them wealthy? If we're not careful, what we'll end up doing is celebrating scenarios and situations that are not necessarily the most beneficial overall, for the population, because what we're doing is saying, okay, so-and-so has $400 million or $25 billion or $100 billion, but the people are working for peanuts. They're working for nothing. I'm thinking about the young lady when I was at the restaurant in Ghana. And this definitely was not a Ghanaian-owned restaurant. This was definitely, one of the imposters coming in. It looked like it was probably like Lebanese-owned or something. And came in, and I said, well, how much do you make per month? And she put her head down. She says, well, I make 600 CDs a month, which is somewhere around $100, $100 US dollars per month. Now, I'm looking at this restaurant, and I'm looking at the prices. And I'm saying to myself, this person is wealthy because this person is exploiting this other person's situation. And you see it time and time again when you come to these different places. And it's America too, it's in America, where you see the workers of one complexion, but the owners of another complexion. And the guests are, of all different kind of complexions. So what I try to do in Bridging the Gap is, when bringing resources, trying to elevate the economic opportunities for those who are local, because otherwise they get caught in a trap of, barely making just making a little bit of money and barely surviving. And that's how many of these systems work. We, in the Western world, in an imperial mind, see an opportunity, we come in, we say, okay, let's exploit this system, charge Western prices, and then keep the people scraping and barely getting by to survive. And me personally, I think that's unacceptable. That's something I cannot do from a business perspective of my own, because that is continuing the exploitation and the abuses on this continent, or even lower income areas, even in America. People are like, listen, I have to do whatever I have to do to put the food on the table. If I'm going to Ghana, 600 C's a month, or whatever it is, and it could be Seychelles, it could be Ghana, it could be Kenya, it could be Senegal, it could be wherever. If people are continuing to do this and we celebrate their wealth just because they're wealthy, without considering how some of that wealth may be obtained, then the circumstances will never change. And so I'm not saying everybody's doing this. I'm not saying some people who are doing right by the people and making sure that there's a fair compensation for the work that's being done. But I can assure you that when you're dealing with capitalism, capitalism is one of those systems that is not friendly towards equity. And so what I would encourage someone to do, if you're in that position, obviously you're having to do with you surviving and making things happen, but to take whatever little bit you can and begin to save, begin to educate yourself by with all of the tools and resources that are out here now, YouTube, by taking these tools and resources and taking that knowledge and beginning to use what you have. I was talking to a young lady in Nigeria. She's a seamstress, And I said, do you understand that you have a skill that if you just market it and put it on the internet and showing how you can make these clothes, that you could charge 10, 20, 30 times what you're charging on a local level, and begin to, set up an account with DHL, and take, just take the little bit that you have and start putting it out there on these free platforms. And I get it. I know there are obstacles. I know that there are challenges. But even with that, if you begin to start thinking in terms of how these different systems operate, you can begin to at least learn where, ways to get in. How do you get a merchant account? Maybe you can partner with someone who can set up a merchant account for you in another area. And then, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there to kind of give ideas on how we begin to bridge that economic gap and level this playing field a little bit more. But again, this is my talk for right now. When it comes to wealth, I always ask myself, instead of celebrating someone just because they're wealthy, but I also want to know how they take care of their people. Because if they're not taking care of their people, then they're just another imperial exploitation artist that's continuing to take advantage of folks. So anyway, put your comments below. What can we do? So for those who are wealthy, who are handling their business and taking care of folks, hats off to you. Let's continue to do this. Let's continue to elevate. For those who are exploiting, hey, more conversations like this need to be had so that at least some pressure can be applied. I know capitalism is age old. It's going to be around forever. But at least if we can help one or two people change their circumstances, maybe a few people can change their mindset and make things a bit more equitable, we might not have some of these sad stories that we keep hearing of exploitation worldwide, whether it be on the continent or in different parts of America, Europe, Canada, South America, wherever. All right, continue to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Maximum Impact with Jay Cameron. More on the way.